Yo, man, listen, man, we live. We up in the South Bronx. I got the legend king himself,
Legend King, baby.
living legend Melle in the building. Yo, Mel, what's up, man?
I can't call it. Might spoil it. You know what I mean? Just holding on both hands, but we still here, you know.
Hey, Mel, man, I want to start from the beginning. Number one, I want to say, man, I've been a fan since the very beginning, man. So this to be doing this right here, this is super dope for me. So where you from, man?
Right here, South Bronx. Right from the Bronx. I lived, grew up over here, not too far from here on Tiffany Street, Hewitt Place. You know, lived all different places. I used to, folks used to be right up over up the hill on Woody Crest, and you know, I'm Bronx. I was born in the Bronx. Monsignor Hospital. It's up by Fordham Road.
Elementary school, middle school, all that, high school in the Bronx.
Right in the Bronx. PS 23, same area where Fat Joe grew up in. He used to live over there on Union Avenue, Tenton, Forest Projects. Joe grew up in Forest, and we was on the other side of Forest. Like I could literally throw a rock from here, from where we was to the project. You know, okay. Bronx, born and raised.
How old are you, Mel?
60. I'll be 61 today. Today's what, the 12th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be 61 the 15th.
Okay. So you grew up in the 70s in the Bronx?
Yeah, late 60s, early 70s. Yeah.
What was it like?
It's crazy back then because, actually the Bronx is a lot better now, but, you know, everything was all run down. That was in the middle. That was in the beginning of the heroin, when heroin was at its peak. You know, junkies all over, you know, go up to the roof or in the basement, you see, you know, hypodermic needles all over the place, you know, and junkies in the hallway nodding out, and you know, it's definitely nasty out there. You know what I mean? Because like I said, that heroin, you know, that definitely took a toll. You know what I mean? It took a lot of people out. So we grew up in the middle of all that. You know.
Mel, you finished high school?
No.
Okay. How far did you go?
I didn't.
You didn't go to school?
I finished junior high school, but see, I thought I was too smart for school. So, you know, and that was a mistake, you know what I mean? But, you know, you never stop learning. But, you know, because it's curriculum. You're supposed to just go sit your ass down and learn whatever it is they teach you. And then you go to the next level, and you go to the next level. Next thing you know, you got a college degree. You know, but, you know, I'm fast, you know, we out running the streets, and I thought, you know, I know what I know, my little knowledge, you know what I mean, and I just thought I was too smart, you know, for which like I said, which was a mistake. But yeah, I thought I was too smart for school.
All right, so Mel, so now you drop out of school. This is in the 70s?
Yeah.
What is Mel doing after he drops out of school?
Hanging out on the street, which is the mistake. See what people talk about that school to prison pipeline. That's almost like a myth. Where most kids go bad is when they get in the street, and that's to this day. When you go bad when you get in them streets, cause the streets it ain't, you know, the streets ain't gonna forgive you. You know what I mean? You could pass any test. If you study for the test, you could pass any test. It's only curriculum. You know what I mean? No matter if they made a curriculum for you, or if they made it for a Chinese guy, or Indian, or, you know, a Martian, you could learn the curriculum. But it's one thing for sure. Once you get to them streets, the streets ain't gonna forgive you. You could know everything it is to know about being on the streets, and you can get killed, and you can go to jail. And you stay on the streets long enough, you will. You see what I'm saying? And I was out there, but you know. In the 70s, you know, older cats could pull your coat. So now everything I learned from niggas in the street. But they taught me right though. They was telling the truth. They taught me right. So even when, you know, it might have went in one ear and came out the other. But as I got older, them junkies and them dope fiends, they was right. You know what I mean? So I had a edge because. I was taught the truth early, Instead of just believing all the bullshit that all these little young niggas tell each other, yeah, we gonna last forever, and okay, yeah, jail and woo woo woo. Nah, all that is bullshit. How I was taught when in them streets, you got and after it's like, yo, you too smart to be out here with us. That's how you don't want to be. You don't want to be, and the Nick showed me all the tracks on his arm, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't want to do all of you got a good head on your shoulders, shorty, and I took that to heart. And my lady in my earlier adult years, that's what saved me, because like I said, if you listen, you'll learn. You know what I mean?
Now, Mel, what's your background, your nationality?
My father was from South Carolina. My mother's from Georgia, so they was southern folks.
Okay, that's my mother from Georgia, my father from South Carolina.
Yeah.
Now, Mel, you run into hip hop what year?
I was in 76. Started out as a b-boy actually, so it was just DJs and b-boys. Wasn't no MCs because we didn't make that up yet. So I started out as a b-boy, dancing, going to little block parties and, dancing with all the local b-boys and, listening to Herc and them and dissecting what they was doing. And then that's when the MCing part came in, and then we, I hung up my dancing sneakers and I picked up the mic.
Mel, Herc started hip hop?
Herc started what later on became to be hip hop. So like if it's not for Kool Herc, it wouldn't exist on the level that is the foundation. Like everything has a foundation. Kool Herc was the foundation. He had the best sound system. He had the best crew. You know what I mean? It's not only Kool Herc. He had a Coke LaRock, which was the first guy to talk on the mic. Some people are naive enough to say he's the first MC. He never called himself MC, so he's not the first MC. I'm the first MC. I made it up. You see what I'm saying? But some people are naive like that, and I'm not even talking about new people. I'm talking about people that should know. But he had Coke LaRock, Timmy Tim, Clark Kent, El Dorado, Mike, James Bond, Jazzy Janet, Salsa. We had a whole squad. You know what I mean?
What about Love Bug Starsky?
Well, Starsky was we all grew up together actually. But Starsky was more like the best two-way guy in the business. You know what I mean? He could cut and rap, but he was more like a DJ. But he had that disco style. Take after Hollywood and them. You know what I mean? But he came from Forest. He was a Forest Avenue dude.
Now, Mel, you just called yourself the first MC.
Absolutely.
Why you say that?
I made it up. I didn't make up the word MC, but I mean, I was the first rapper to call himself an MC. Anybody?
Master ceremony?
Absolutely. And then we broke it down, but to be an EMC, the MC, like the leader of the show, the guy that run the show, and then we broke it down to MC, master ceremony. And I was the first one to do it, like I said. And then,
What year, man?
That's 70, 77, 78, going in, for the first time you would have seen it on the fly would have been the 3 MCs. That was me, Cree, and Cowboy. That's the first time I'd ever been on the fly. You never seen it on the fly before that. Then after that, now everybody's an MC. Cats like Kaz, who was a DJ, now he's an MC. And you got all the other cats, Harlem cats. They MCs and Treacherous Threes and the Furious Fours and the Funky Four and the Come Alive Five, and you know what I mean. But that's how shit.
Where the hip hop started? What borough?
Right here in the Bronx. Right up the block over here.
100%.
Absolutely. You see, and then a lot of people say it started in Queens. That was disco. See what I'm saying? Now, anything could be equated to hip hop, because hip hop is not. It wasn't no definite music that you could say that, okay, that's hip hop music. It was break beats. So that's any song that had a beat. It could have been a jazz song, it could have been a rock song, but hip hop most definitely started in the Bronx. All the elements that made hip hop, that was the b-boys, the MC, the DJ, the graffiti. Most of that, it was centered around the Bronx. Most of the legendary graffiti writers, a lot of them, Phase 2, all these cats, they was Bronx cats. Even K Slay. I mean, he and if you his graffiti name was Desi Daz. See, that's that OG shit. Timmy Tim, Melle, Creole's original name was Danny Dan. That's first generation shit. Whatever your name was, you said it twice. That's why I'm still Melle, right? That's day one shit. You know what I mean?
Now, Mel, I'm listening to Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. We're coming. I'm in Jersey, and you guys were the first ones that be on the radio, and you always kind of set forth amongst even the Furious Five. You always kind of set forth. What was that like when y'all started putting it on record and becoming the Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five?
Well, it was just, everything goes to the next level. So it was like us, how you doing, my brother? It's like us, taking our hip hop to the next level. After Sugar Hill Gang and them came out with Rappers Delight, that took the game to the next level. Radio, concerts. We was just doing, our little parties up here in the Bronx, the little rec centers, the PAL, the Dixie Club. But, we went to the next level. So now everybody started making records. So now we put records together, So it ain't just beats and rhymes. Now is and routines. Now is, records. You have to have it all, all mapped out. Go in the studio, be a professional, how to talk on the mic properly, you know what I mean, and gauge yourself and
on stage, all that.
Yeah, it's a totally different dynamic than just totally different dynamic than just just rapping in the streets.
Now, Mel, 1982, The Message. You and Duke Booty. This is a game changer, not just in hip hop, but on the planet in music. And you on that record.
Absolutely.
Talk about that record and talk about what it did.
Well, what the Message did for hip hop is it legitimized it. It made it grow up. It authenticated what hip hop was, because before then and even up to right now, the average hip hop record is not. I'm not gonna say that it's not a record, but it's not much to be said about the record. You know what I mean? It's like the average hip hop record is just some guy, he talking shit. You know what I mean? That's basically all it is. That's basically all rap music is. It's just some guy talking shit. But the Message was the record that legitimized the whole thing. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. That's a sentiment that could be relegated to anybody. That could be relegated to any race. You know what I mean? So that was the one record that at that time where when people doubted hip hop and rap, that was the one thing that said, well, I don't like hip hop, but that record there, see, that's not bad. That was more like a cross between hip hop and kind of spoken wordish. It really has something to say, some kind of social commentary. The seriousness of life. It was a real song, and to this day, like I said, very few rap records are actually real songs. Like I said, most of that shit that we listen to is just a nigga talking shit. The Message was the difference. That was like some real. I was like, a nigga talking some real shit, and it changed the game.
How did it change Melle's life?
Well, it made and even to this day, Melle is the rapper that's taken most serious. Like for the most part, a lot of motherfuckers got you know, they got flaws to their game, like as far as you know, being relevant and staying relevant. The message, you know, made Melle, you know, I never lost no relevancy. You know, it was because the record never went nowhere. Nobody never, no record eclipsed that record. Now, it's been a lot of good records, but I mean, realistically, none of those records eclipsed the message.
And the message is in the Library of Congress, 50 most greatest songs in the history of human beings.
Absolutely. I mean, look, us being the first group in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that the message did that. You know what I mean? They could have waited, you know, for Running them to come of age to get in, but we was the first choice because that record was so strong. You know what I mean? It was undeniable. And so that made us, you know, like without the message, you know, it would be, you know, all the groups from back then, you know, the Treacherous Three, Cads, everybody, it would be kind of close. You know, the message is like we here, and then everybody else is somewhere down here. But it was because of the message. You know, it was. You know, like I said, the importance of that record, and to this day, is still the most important record in hip hop. There's no other record, and it been a lot of records, but like, I always keep saying the average rap record is just some nigga talking shit. It's not, you know, there's not a lot to it. You know what I mean? It's just that, you know, but it's just that people just like to hear niggas talk shit. So, you know, that's the importance of what hip hop is. But, you know, the message was a real, you know, it was a real song. Broken glass everywhere. People picturing it. That's the story of life. Child is born with no state of mind, blind to the ways of mankind. That's, you know, that's right now. That's up the block right there. That's, you know, that's Chicago. You know, that's motherfucking St. Louis. That's, you know, that's you know, that's the hood. That, you know, that's the realness. You know, that's what it is. It's the streets.
Man, shout out to Duke Booty. Too, we got to give him a shout out. Now, Mel, where is hip hop taking you as far as the planet? Where has your hip hop career, has you been all around the world with this?
For the most part, I have yet to go to Africa, or you know, well, not too many groups have ever been to China, but everywhere else, you know, all through Europe, and you know, yeah, we been around.
A child is born with no state of mind, blind to the ways of mankind. That is so relevant, man, to today, man. Like, psychologically, where did you come up with that, man? What was you thinking about when you said that?
Well, you know, being a person that write and know how to write, it's like and see, my whole thing is like I always want to be ahead of the curve, you know, as far as the creativity or just what I'm doing, you know, you know, I always want to try to be a step and a half, 2-3 steps ahead of everybody else. So when I wrote A Child Is Born, it's like me wanting to say something different, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you could sell while everybody is stuck on the same, you can come with the difference and you could sell the difference. So that was the difference between me and everybody else that was writing rhymes at that time. When I wrote The Child Is Born, that was the difference. You know, that was the difference between me, Cowboy, and my brother, and Raheem. You know, that was the difference. It's like I could write, I had another gear in me, so I could flip the switch. You know what I mean? And even up to this day, most rappers they can't, you know, they only got one gear. Like, you know, you only could talk about whatever it is that you can talk about. I could say a rhyme about basically anything. You know, my thing is, you know, I'm versatile. You know, because I know how to write. You know, poetry. You know, as well as a street rhyme. You know, spoken word. You know, whatever it is. You know what I mean? But you have to have that gear. The Tupac, he had that gear. He had another gear in him. That's what made him, like, as far as these modern day rappers, that's what made him stand out heads and tails over them because, you know, while everybody was talking some gangster shit, he definitely had some shit in his songs that, you know, had something to say. So he had another gear, and that's why, you know, he's the standout guy, even though a lot of people didn't really understand the importance of what he was trying to say that was important. You know, they just focused in on all the gangster shit that he was talking about. But you know, the real Tupac was you know, a lot of the other shit that he was saying, and then as well as the things that he was talking about in real life. You know, he was talking about voters registration and all that shit. You know, these niggas, you know, they are fucker. We ain't got to vote. We ain't good. You know what I mean?
Now, Mel, one of your rhymes that blows me away, and I listened to it this morning. A newspaper burns in the sand, and the headline reads, "Man destroys man." Extra, extra, read all the bad news of the wars, the rise and fall of the last great empire. That verse, and I make Little Shaw, my son is a big fan of you. Survival, only the strong can survive. It was like that record, that verse, you wrote that, what was Beat Street, 84?
84, absolutely.
And it's relevant to, it's like you foretold, it was like, and we're back to this social commentary thing on this like sage, seer, philosopher type thing. Ukraine and Russia, China, the empire fall. How did you come up? I mean, what made you Okinawa, Korea, the Philippines? Where did your mind go when you wrote that verse?
Well, the Beat Street song came after having a conversation with the great Harry Belafonte.
Check him out, Joe.
Because actually we wasn't supposed to be in Beat Street. I was just supposed to write the song for the guy that was the star of Beat Street.
Right.
But he really couldn't get the lyrics, you know, because he wasn't a rapper. But and so when he tried to learn the song, he couldn't learn it. And if you listen to the even in the movie, he just rapped over my voice.
Without a doubt.
They just changed they changed the EQ on it so that he sounded a little less like me, and then I came in and did the last verse. But that whole thing came about of having a conversation with the great Harry Belafonte. I mean, he, you know, a very eloquent man, you know, a legend, super OG legend in his own right, and just sitting down and talking with him, and you know, we talked about the movie, and we talked about, you know, just life in general and things that he was thinking and what was on his mind. And then I wrote Beat Street. That's how I wrote Beat Street. I would have never came up with a song like that or chose, you know, to write what I wrote without that conversation with Harry, Mr. Belafonte.
And this is a kid from the South Bronx, high school dropout.
Right.
But your mind is worldly. You were looking at the planet from a world perspective. How old were you in 84?
I was probably like 22, 20.
And
20.
Look at the shit that you wrote, man.
Yeah.
Nobody was writing like that, man.
Yeah, you see, because my whole thing is like
nobody don't write like that now.
No,
man.
Right. Is a merge between poetry and street knowledge. And I was good at that. I'm still good at it. If you know, listen to the joint that we did with K Slay. He had that verse is a cold verse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely a cold verse. But I could write like that. You know, like I said, most rappers or MCs, whatever, they have one gear. They could write about one thing, and they stick to that one thing. I could write on whatever level. You know, I could talk grimy. You know, I could be articulate. You know, I could merge
Scholarly.
in both. Yeah, absolutely.
Philosophically.
Absolutely. You know, because I'm a true MC. I'm a true MC. I could do it on stage. I could do it in the studio. I could, you know, it don't matter. You know what I mean? It's just like how they say the greatest of all time. that I don't even necessarily believe in the greatest of all, because like I said, most of that shit is just niggas talking shit on record. So it is what it is. But I'm the great. Anytime I touch that motherfucking mic, something gonna happen. You know what I mean? And that's why I say I'm the best that ever did it, because I'm still just as good as I am now. Then. You just give me a mic. Just put a mic in my hand. It don't matter. You know what I mean? I get it right here. I cover everything out. These motherfuckers playing basketball. Go out, start to get the talking shit. Everybody be looking to see what the fuck it is I'm saying. And these are just some niggas playing basketball, and I just came out talking shit.
Mel, you and Shaka Khan, I feel for you. Is that the first fusion of hip hop with R&B? And if it's not the first, is it the first successful?
The first, right? The first, definitely the first commercially successful. And that record came about. It was a white guy, Arif Mardin. He was a famous producer, and it was his idea to do the record. One of the brothers that used to work at Sugar Hill, Reggie Griffin, was the one that linked. He was working with them, and then he linked me up with Arif Mardin. Me and Shaka Khan was never even in the studio together. I didn't meet Shaka Khan until we was overseas on tour, and I flew from England to L.A. And that first time I seen her was on the Grammys. Because I never met her before we did the record. I did my part in New York, and I don't know where they was, in L.A. or something, but then they just flew it all in and put a dope mix on it, and
then the rest of the 80s, it was fusion, R&B and hip hop. Right. R&B artists, at least either starting their record with a hip hop verse or in the middle or whatever.
Right. Right, but and to this day, I mean, that's still that's a heavy duty. That's heavy duty,
Mel, you get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right. First group to be inducted.
First hip hop group inducted.
Absolutely. Like I said, that was a no-brainer, because we was we was the group that broke all the barriers. We had the hits, we had the pedigree. So, but I think they didn't want us in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just for us to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They wanted hip hop to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Because you see it like how right now, like certain groups could get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and be like a first ballot. Like, so, I think Eminem, like a couple of them guys, they got in on the first ballot. We got in like on maybe the third ballot. You got groups that, rock groups like Curtis Blow. He should have been in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he's not. I don't even think Nile Rodgers is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Chic is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. As much as he did for music, he's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't even know if Shaka Khan is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or Rufus. I don't know. But they wanted hip hop in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but they had to start with some group. But and our group was a no-brainer. It's the first choice. Like I said, we had the record, we had the pedigree.
Now, Mel, you got you working out, man. You got your physique is money. We ain't on the fruit pop tip. So you working out. You in the gym and the park, gym and calisthenics.
Yeah. I mix it up.
60 years old.
Yeah. But I love working out. Even before I went in the gym. When I went in the gym when I was 24, but when I was in my early 20s, I used to do a lot of push-ups. So I had a push-up routine. You do 25 push-ups for 30 minutes or 60 minutes. So it would be 750 to 1,500 push-ups. But after a while, push-ups don't get you nowhere. So I went to the gym. Then I started reading up on bodybuilding and supplements and weight training, people's different theories on working out, diet, and I now actually it's starting to really come together now. I got,
talk about your supplement. You got a whole line of supplements.
Yeah, FuriousSports.com. We got the first hip-hop all-purpose energy pre-workout. Like I said, you go to the website. Hopefully, it's under what we're saying right here. Right.
This video.
Right.
Click on that link underneath this video.
Right.
FuriousSports.com.
Get that.
Melle.
Yeah. So because we trying. That's where we are right now.
The Legend King, has spoken. Melle, South Bronx. FuriousSports.com.
FuriousSports.com. Look, see, that's what FuriousSports.com get you. Get you one of these. Get you some ham hocks.
60
you know what I'm
years
saying?
old, Mel?
Get your I'll be 61 in a couple days. That FuriousSports.com will get you some ham hocks.
Hey, Mel, I appreciate you, man.
My brother.
Peace.